ever feel like you're speaking a totally different language than some people? Like
Right.
you're all about the big picture, and they're hung up on like the tiniest little details.
Yeah.
Well, get ready to decode the mysteries of the human psyche, because today's deep dive is all about Carl Jung's personality types.
Okay.
You've got articles on, let's see, introversion versus extroversion,
Right.
the 4 psychological functions,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're serving up those aha moments that'll have you nodding along like,
Yeah.
okay, that's totally me.
What's so fascinating about Jung is that he went beyond just those surface level labels
Right.
we often use, It's not just about being a people person or a wallflower.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the fundamental ways we interact with the world
Right.
and where we draw our energy from.
It's like that light bulb moment when you realize, wait, that's why I feel so drained after a networking event.
Mm-hmm.
But my best friend is ready to party all night.
Exactly. That's the classic introvert-extrovert
Right.
difference in action. So introverts, they typically recharge in solitude, drawing energy from their inner world of thoughts and ideas.
Okay.
Extroverts, on the other hand,
Yeah.
they're energized by external stimulation. They thrive in social settings, love being surrounded by people.
Okay, but Jung knew it wasn't as simple as just like
Yes.
outgoing versus reserved, right?
Yeah.
He said, there is no such thing as a pure introvert or extrovert. Such a person would be in the lunatic asylum.
Yeah,
So it's more of a spectrum, right?
precisely. We all exist somewhere on that spectrum,
Okay.
with varying degrees of both tendencies within us. It's about understanding your natural inclination, where you fall on that continuum, and how that influences, your preferences, your behaviors.
So it's less about like putting yourself in a box and more about understanding your natural tendencies.
Right.
But Jung didn't stop at introversion and extroversion, did he?
No,
He went deeper with those 4 psychological functions:
he did.
sensing, intuition, thinking, and feeling.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack these functions a bit.
Okay.
What's the deal with sensing versus intuition?
Okay, so imagine you walk into a bakery.
Yeah.
A sensing type is going to home in on the sights, the smells,
Yeah.
the freshly baked bread, the colorful pastries.
Mhm.
They're grounded in those concrete details of the here and now.
They're probably the ones pointing out like the perfectly shaped croissant in the display case, right?
Exactly. Now, the intuitive type,
Okay.
they might walk into that same bakery
Yeah.
and just get more of a feeling about the plate.
Okay.
They're drawn to the overall ambiance, maybe the story behind the bakery, or even like imagining new flavor combinations.
All right.
They're looking beyond the surface, seeking patterns and possibilities.
So if sensing is about like what is, intuition is about what could
You
be.
got it. One isn't better than the other. They're just different ways of perceiving and interpreting the world around us.
All right, so we've got these 2 ways of taking in information: sensing and intuition. But
Yeah.
then there's like the whole decision-making side of things.
Right.
That's where thinking and feeling come into play.
Absolutely. And this is often where those like classic misunderstandings happen,
Yeah.
especially in relationships.
Okay.
A thinking type approaches decisions with, logic and objectivity.
Okay.
They might make pro-con lists, analyze data, weigh the evidence, think like Spock from Star Trek.
Okay, I'm picturing spreadsheets and flowcharts.
Yeah.
So not exactly wearing their heart on their sleeve then.
Not necessarily. They might have strong feelings.
Yeah.
But they prefer to process them through a more rational lens.
Okay.
Now, a feeling type,
Yeah.
they lead with their values
Mhm.
and consider the emotional impact of their decisions
Right.
on themselves and others.
Yeah.
Guided by empathy, compassion, a desire for harmony.
So a feeling type might say,
Yeah.
my gut tells me this is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
While a thinking type's like, what are the logical reasons to support this?
Precisely. And
Yeah.
again, neither approach is inherently better.
Yeah.
They're just different ways of navigating the world.
This is making me think about all those times when I've like butted heads with someone.
Right.
And we just couldn't seem to understand each other's perspective. It's like
Mhm.
maybe it wasn't about being right or wrong,
Yeah.
but about like speaking different decision-making languages.
That's a great point. Understanding these functions can be so helpful
Right.
in those situations. Right. Allowing for more compassion
Yeah.
and effective communication.
Right.
It's like having a decoder ring for, human behavior.
Okay, so we've got
Yeah.
introversion, extroversion,
Mhm.
and these 4 functions: sensing, intuition, thinking, feeling.
Right.
But Jung took it even further.
He did. He did.
He combined these elements to describe like 8 distinct personality types.
You got it. And each type is like a unique cocktail
Okay.
of these ingredients, leading to distinct patterns in how people, perceive the world, make decisions, interact with others.
This is where it gets really exciting because we can start to see these patterns play out
Yes.
in our own lives and in the people around us.
Absolutely.
So walk us through an example.
Okay.
If we meet someone who's, let's say, an extroverted intuitive type,
Okay.
what might we notice about them?
An extroverted intuitive type picture. A brainstorming session
Okay.
where ideas are like flying around like popcorn. That's where they thrive. They're the ones bubbling over with possibilities, always seeing connections between like seemingly unrelated concepts.
They're the ones who say,
Yeah.
hold my latte, I have another idea.
Exactly. Full of energy, enthusiastic, and they love bouncing ideas off of others.
Right.
But remember, they're also drawing energy from those interactions.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if they need to recharge with some solo time after, a whirlwind of social engagement.
So it's like they have a constant stream of what ifs running through their minds.
Yeah.
How might that show up in, say, a work environment?
Okay, so imagine you're launching a new project.
Okay.
And the extroverted intuitive throws out like a wild idea.
Yeah.
It might seem out there,
Right.
maybe even a bit overwhelming, but it could also be the spark
Right.
that ignites like a truly innovative solution.
So they're the ones who kind of push the boundaries and challenge the status quo.
Absolutely. Natural visionaries,
Okay.
always looking ahead to the
Right.
horizon. But they might need to cultivate like some patience
Yeah.
for those who prefer to focus on the here and now,
Right.
taking things one step at a time.
It's all about finding that balance, right?
Exactly.
Recognizing those strengths.
Yeah.
But also understanding that each type comes with its own, challenges and areas for growth.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of Jung's theory.
Yeah.
It's not about labeling people or putting them in boxes.
Right.
It's about understanding these fundamental patterns so we can navigate our relationships, careers,
Yeah.
and even our understanding of ourselves
Right.
with greater insight and compassion.
It's like we're piecing together a puzzle,
Right.
but instead of like a pretty picture,
Yeah.
we're getting a clearer view of what makes people tick.
Mm-hmm.
And not just other people,
Right.
ourselves too.
Absolutely.
But let's be real, not everyone listening is going to like rush out and take a personality test
Right.
based on this deep dive.
And that's okay. Jung believed true self-discovery is a journey, not a race.
Okay.
He said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart.
Yeah.
Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's less about slapping a label on yourself and more about cultivating that self-awareness.
Yes, absolutely.
Where would you recommend someone start on that journey?
Just pay attention to like your everyday experiences.
Yep.
How do you react in social situations? What drains your energy versus what, lights you up? How do you approach decision making, gut feeling, or meticulous research?
Right.
These little clues reveal a lot about your natural tendencies.
It's like becoming a detective of
Yeah.
your own personality.
Exactly.
But what about those who want to go like a little deeper,
Yeah.
beyond just self-reflection?
There are tons of resources out there.
Oh.
Jung's own book, Psychological Types,
Yeah.
is like the mothership, though. It can be pretty dense.
Okay.
For a more accessible entry point, I recommend Gifts Differing by Isabel Briggs Myers.
I've heard good things about that
Yeah,
one.
it's a good one.
It's going on my list.
Awesome.
So as we're, wrapping up our deep dive into Jungian personality types,
Yes.
what's like the key takeaway
Sure.
you hope listeners will carry with them?
Understanding your personality type isn't about limiting yourself to a predefined box.
Right.
It's about unlocking your potential,
Okay.
navigating the world with more self-awareness,
Mm-hmm.
and recognizing the beautiful diversity and how others experience and engage with life.
It's like learning to appreciate all the different instruments in the orchestra,
Exactly.
even if you have a favorite.
Yes. And when we understand those different instruments,
Yeah.
we can create more beautiful music together.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that understanding these different personality types can lead to more fulfilling relationships,
Absolutely.
more effective communication,
Yes.
and a deeper understanding of, ourselves and the world around us.
Precisely. And who knows?
Yeah.
It might even spark a new passion for psychology.
Well, there's certainly no shortage of fascinating material to explore.
That's for sure.
This has been such an enlightening conversation.
It really has.
Thanks for guiding us through this deep dive into Jungian thought.
My pleasure. Always
Yep.
happy to geek out about personality types.
And for our listeners, we hope this episode has inspired you to kind of embark on your own journey
Yes,
of self-discovery.
absolutely.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.